A News Channel 5 special presentation, Keeping LeBron, with your hosts, Danita Harris and sports director Andy Baskin. Keeping LeBron. Brought to you by Bill Doherty Kia.
We are all witnesses. Hello, I'm Danita Harris, and welcome to Keeping LeBron, an in-depth look at LeBron James and what it will take to keep the King a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
And I'm Andy Baskin. For the next hour, we're going to take a look at LeBron James' beginnings. Plus, we're going to talk to someone that knows what it's like to be the king of Cleveland. We'll talk to a man that knows what it's like to be in LeBron James' shoes.
We'll also hear about the grassroots efforts to keep LeBron, and you'll meet a group of grandmothers who just love him.
And we'll try to break it all down for you with our panel of experts.
Plus, we'll hear from some of you and what you think it would take to keep LeBron here in Cleveland. But we begin with where it all started for LeBron in Cleveland.
That day was May 22nd, 2003. That was the day the Cavaliers won the NBA draft lottery, giving the Cavs pick number 1 in that year's draft.
And, of course, they picked LeBron James out of Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's High School. News Channel 5's Leon Bibb takes a look back at the past 7 years.
In many ways, Cleveland's hope to build an NBA team to make a real run for a championship was in the 2003 drawing. Worst record team in the league gets first draft pick.
The Memphis
Hopes were on LeBron James. Well, it marked the beginning, again, for Cleveland basketball. The prediction was LeBron James would help fill up Cleveland's arena. He was the hometown kid from Akron, who as a high schooler played above his chronological age. Above the rim, too. So when LeBron James changed from a high school uniform to one of the Cleveland Cavs, there came new Cavs life.
This is a dream come true for me. You know, it could have been any team. I'm happy it's the Cavs. I'm so glad it's the Cavs. But, you know, it's a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to be a, NBA player and be in the NBA draft.
I think it's one of the greatest events in the history of the franchise. When you think about draft picks, and we've had Austin Carr at number 1, Brad Doherty, who was a great number 1 pick, but since then we haven't had, that was 86, so we haven't had a first-round pick. We haven't even had a pick in the top 5 since 86, so it's huge in that regard, and then it's particularly big because it's a hometown guy.
In 2007, LeBron and company pushed into the NBA Finals, facing San Antonio. We tasted a championship, but though they are round, basketball sometimes have strange ways of bouncing. The ball bounced San Antonio's way. The trophy model in Cleveland was just a model.
I wish they would leave it up for a couple of more days. I love it. I think it's nice. It brings a lot to our city.
Still, there had been, and is today, much to celebrate.
First of all, we got national exposure. We had all the people that came into town and brought, a lot of money to this town.
In the 14 years that this place has been here, the Indians have taken us to 2 World Series, and now the Cavs have taken us to the final. This facility really has paid off big time, I think, for the city of Cleveland.
Indeed, LeBron and the Cavs generate money for Cleveland. For the 2007 run for championship season, economic impact tied to the Cavs games totaled $123 million. Let's keep that relationship going. Hope is he stays with the Cavs. Cleveland loves him, as no other place will. Home, sweet home. So LeBron, there's no place like home. Leon Bibb, News Channel 5.
And as we all know, LeBron James got his start in the city of Akron.
And I actually got a chance to go to the Rubber City to talk to some kids and get their thoughts on the King. The Boys and Girls Club of the Western Reserve is a great place for kids to have fun. And surprisingly, it's the perfect spot to gain insight into the LeBron James situation.
LeBron, I want you to stay because you were born in Ohio, and we need to win championships. So if you leave, there's no hope of us ever winning one.
I think LeBron is one of the main reasons why the Cavs win. So I like LeBron. He's my favorite player.
No doubt. LeBron's got game. His #1 fan named some of his favorite moves.
When he dunk it, and when he shoot the threes, and when he somebody about to run down the court and he pack it.
But what about LeBron James, the person? What makes him so special?
How he showed his good sportsmanship to the Cavs and his fans. He represents Akron and Cleveland. He represents us in many different ways, and he makes us proud of him.
So proud that she took a LeBron James T-shirt and gave it a special flair.
I snipped the sides in different ways, and I tied them into knots just to make it a little different.
A little fashion and a whole lot of dancing. These kids definitely have something in common with LeBron. And it's obvious our junior LeBron experts want him to stay. But what if he decides to leave?
I think that the Cavaliers' rankings will go down without LeBron.
Believe it or not everyone wants him to stay just for the Cavs.
LeBron, I want you to stay because you help the kids at the Boys and Girls Club.
So here's one more emotional plea. LeBron James has a special connection to the Boys and Girls Club of the Western Reserve. He has donated tickets to Geauga Lake for the kids, and he also reserves a special spot for them each year in his annual bike-a-thon.
Sure, the city of Akron knows how to say thank you to LeBron James. After all, he's the man that really put the city on the map over the last couple of years. Last week, about 8,000 showed up at Akron's InfoCision Stadium for LeBron James Appreciation Day. Even the king himself showed up, surprising the crowd, telling them everything he does is for the city of Akron.
Akron is my home, my life, everything that I do is for this city. So I want to thank you guys for coming out, showing your appreciation for what I've been able to do throughout my career, and I'm going to continue to do great things. So I love every last one of y'all, and Akron is home. I love y'all.
We all know Northeast Ohio loves LeBron James, and LeBron James' roots are right here in Northeast Ohio. But is that enough for him to stay?
Well, Andy, only LeBron and his inner circle know the answer, but we might have some insight. Bob Jones talked with those who know LeBron best.
Who knows if the next LeBron James could be shooting hoops at the University of Akron's basketball camp, but it seems all of the kids have an opinion on number 23's future.
Raise your hands if he's staying. Yeah. Raise your hands if he's going. Nobody, huh?
The King was a late arrival to last Saturday's LeBron Appreciation Day in Akron, adding to the rampant speculation about his future. Romeo Travis was part of the Fab Five, who won a high school championship with LeBron at St. Vincent St. Mary, and says LeBron is like a brother to him.
Personally, if I was to guess, I would say he would stay here, but, I mean, you know, that can go either way.
So if you're a betting man, he's staying?
If I was to bet, I would keep my money in my pocket.
Willie McGee, also part of the Fab Five, says James is used to the enormous attention, and he's enjoying the free agency process. McGee doesn't have an inkling on what James will do, but he does have an unpopular wish.
I'm from Chicago originally. I'm a huge Bulls fan. Michael still has something etched in me, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in black and red.
I would imagine right now LeBron knows his decision.
David Lee Morgan has written 2 books on LeBron and believes 3 factors: unfinished business, his family, and loyalty will keep him a Cavalier.
LeBron has feelings. LeBron is a loyal guy. LeBron understands what Akron, Cleveland, you know, the fans, how they feel about him.
And if LeBron has any doubts, just listen to the kids.
Hey, Cleveland!
In Akron, Bob Jones, News Channel 5.
Stay with us on Keeping LeBron as the show rolls on. It's tough to know exactly what LeBron James is going through.
It really is, but there is one iconic athlete who might know. Former Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar sits down with Lee Jordan, what the top dog has to say about the king of the court.
Plus, how would you like to live next door to LeBron James? We have details on how you can be LeBron's neighbor.
And next, the Grassroots effort to keep LeBron as Keeping LeBron continues.
When I say my mission, it doesn't mean just basketball. It's a mission in life to become a better man, to become a better basketball player, to become a better role model, to become a better father, better teammate, friend, everything that you can think of.
I would be willing to give him free babysitting passes, good home-cooked soul food meals, and nice baked goods, and a lot of support. We love him, and we want him to stay.
That was Bridget Long from Akron with some great ideas on how to keep LeBron James here in Northeast Ohio. What would you do to keep LeBron James here with the Cavaliers?
Andy, here are some great ideas. A barber in Akron has offered to give LeBron a free haircut, and Cleveland's Iron Chef Michael Simon said he will go to the MVP's home and cook for him. So really what you need to do is go to newsnet5.com. That's the place to submit your suggestions. Like Hannah and Haley, who put this video together, a parody of the phrase, "You found me."
Then there's this from Blush Custom Wedding, a florist in Painesville. They're offering an amazing arrangement for LeBron's mom, his girlfriend. That's all, to keep the king out of the doghouse, provided, though, he's got to stay in Cleveland.
Of course. And Marcelita's Mexican restaurant in Hudson is offering LeBron free food. Head to newsnet5.com and upload your video or picture and tell us what you would do to keep LeBron in Cleveland. And we can't forget this. It was a big media push to keep LeBron by using the king's own words. MoreThanAPlayer.org put it all together. This rally outside Progressive Field happened earlier this month. 4 guys holding up signs with different words like family, loyalty, commitment, and team. Words LeBron has used himself in describing what's important to him.
A mission is not, start and end in 6 years or 7 years.
It's as if LeBron James's own words are coming back to haunt him. MoreThanAPlayer.org, a grassroots group of fans, is taking their plea to keep James in Cleveland to the airwaves. The group hopes words spoken often by James will carry a subliminal message.
Ever since I was a kid, I always said I was going to find a way to put this city on the map, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Words that LeBron has talked about that mean a lot to him, but quite frankly, that mean a lot to our community.
The ads are reminiscent of Nike's Tiger Woods commercials, in which Woods' father is the voice of conscience. The Cleveland campaign is the latest example of how far cities are willing to go to get James's attention, from a giant billboard in Chicago to a sales pitch from the mayor of New York.
Northeast Ohio would be conspicuous by our absence, by not having something other than what the Cavs themselves would do to try and keep him in Cleveland.
It's a fitting irony. Fans targeting an ad campaign solely toward a megastar athlete who is a master at self-promotion. But will it work?
Hopefully the ad campaign will, prompt him to stay here. But unfortunately, I feel like he might need a little bit more than just an ad campaign to get him to stay here. Maybe a good player on the side.
He really does bring a dynamic energy here to the city, and I think it would take a concerted effort to try to keep him here. So I think it's worth it.
Banners, that's one thing that LeBron James has done. Those banners hang out here in Independence at the Cleveland Clinic courts. And, many people hope that LeBron James stays in Cleveland for many selfish reasons. One is to give the Cavaliers and the city of Cleveland their first championship.
But Andy, many businesses want LeBron to stay for a whole other reason: money. The truth is, the king brings fans to the Q, which means cash for nearby restaurants.
Economic impact, that's what it's all about. Paul Kiska has more.
During Cavaliers home games, local Hero Sports Bar near the Q brings in 10 extra servers and bartenders who also benefit from extra tips with those big crowds.
Coaches like to use chalkboards, so how about this? Just counting the 20,000 fans who go to every regular season Cavaliers game, they generate $3.7 million for the local economy. That doesn't include all of the extra wages and tips for the 64,000 people who work in the bar and hotel industry in Cuyahoga County.
But those fans generate $8 to $10 million during the playoffs and finals when ticket prices go up and more out-of-towners travel to Cleveland spending money. Hotels, restaurants, taxis all win.
LeBron definitely helps business.
And not just the fans who go to the game, add even more money when even more fans gather at watch parties and sports bars, from good old days in Parma to local heroes in downtown Cleveland. But without LeBron and sellouts on those cold Tuesday nights in the winter, some predict 6 to 8 downtown bars would close immediately.
People from different cities, people from different countries come and see him. I mean, it's really going to affect downtown Cleveland. I have a feeling that we're going to lose a lot of businesses if he leaves.
In Cleveland, Paul Kiska, News Channel 5.
So economics, really one of the big reasons that so many cities want LeBron James, not only for the basketball purists, but for the millions of dollars that he will bring in for the economy of cities like Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles, And in fact, we know right here in Cleveland, that's why we hope that LeBron James stays a member of the Cavaliers.
Oh, we want him right here. And so far, we have looked at the grassroots effort to keep LeBron here in Cleveland, plus how Northeast Ohio's economy will be affected by his presence.
But what about the man that actually hands the contract over to the King? Later on Keeping LeBron, we're going to sit down with Indians general manager Mark Shapiro and what it's like to be in the hot seat when you're negotiating with a superstar athlete.
Plus, another quest for a championship unfulfilled. We'll take a closer look at how one loss caused a domino effect, which could change the Cavs forever. Also,
grannies with a goal to keep LeBron. Keeping LeBron continues in a moment.
Coach with him, and if he wants more money, give him more money. Yeah. I mean, the city people want him here. They'll pay to keep him.
Another great suggestion, this one coming from Akron and Angela Martin, on what she would do to keep LeBron James right here in Northeast Ohio. Now, there's another unique group of women. They are also from Akron, and they are trying to use a little grandmotherly love to keep LBJ right here in town.
Oh, I love these women. The LBJ Grandmothers Fan Club, 200 strong, share a common love of LeBron. And we caught up with them this week, and they showed us a little LeBron boogie.
But this isn't any average run-of-the-mill dance troupe. No, these young ladies are fleet of foot. Meet the LeBron James Grandmothers Fan Club, 200 strong and counting. You see, these grandmas just love to have fun. Just ask Pat Idley.
We're not like the grandmothers of old. We are not rocking chair grandmothers. We are hip-hop rocking grandmothers ready to go at the drop of a dime.
Along the way, these grandmothers get together once a month to cut the rug, as they say. It's great exercise and good practice for when they head out to the senior centers.
It's just something for them to have fun and for us to have fun in the community and keep people encouraged to exercise and do different things health-wise and just fun-wise.
As you can tell by their fan club name, it's in the honor of LeBron James. They make appearances all over the region. They really, really want him to stay. And not just because he's a great basketball player.
He's such a role model to our young men, and that's what we need. You know, they always talk about mentors. He's a mentor to all the young men that are here in Akron, and we want to keep him around.
And if that doesn't work, well, as they say, the fastest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And these grannies can cook. They wrote a whole cookbook in his honor.
I think LeBron likes LeBron's French fried shrimp.
So listen to your elders, LeBron. You won't get this anywhere else. In Akron, Mark Durdak, News Channel 5.
I love those grannies. You know, if you're any sports fan, it's tough to get to know any athlete personally, especially one as private as LeBron James.
But one guy that's really had a great chance to understand what LeBron James is all about is the Plain Dealer's Brian Windhorst. He's been covering LeBron since he was in high school. And when you travel with a guy day in and day out, you really get to know the insights. I had a chance to catch up with Brian a little bit earlier in the week, not only just to ask him what he thinks LeBron is going to do, but the entire LeBron story. Brian, I don't think there's a man in America that probably hears the question more often than you do. What is LeBron James going to do? How often do you hear that question every day?
Frequently. Only from about the time I wake up till the time I go to sleep, nonstop. But hopefully it'll be ending soon.
All right. Hopefully it will be. You know, do you have a standard answer that you tell people, or you know, what is your thoughts?
Well, I think he's going to stay. You know, I say that knowing LeBron, knowing how much Akron means to him, knowing how much success this franchise has had with him, it would be surprising to me if he left. I do think he's going to avail himself of all of his opportunities, as he probably should. But I do think that after making Cleveland sweat, I do think he's going to want to stay home because I don't think he's finished the business he wants to finish here.
Can you talk a little bit about the psyche of the Cleveland Cavaliers fan at this point? Because many days it seems like it's an emotional roller coaster. One day you think he's staying, the next day you think he's leaving. And how hard is it for you not to play into that left and right? You know, we're all human.
I think it's easy to be emotional, but I think the fans can realize that they've done nothing but support LeBron. And the organization, they haven't been perfect, but they've tried everything they possibly can to make him want to be here for the long term. And no matter what happens, I think the fans should realize that they gave him everything he could possibly want. He loves the fans of Cleveland, and that's going to play into into his decision process, and that's going to be in the back of his head. And so I think as a fan of Cleveland, you should believe in your hometown, because LeBron believes in Akron. LeBron will make this his home with the rest of his life, and I think LeBron would, if he were talking to you right now, would say, I really do believe in this area. And he says that knowing he's been here for his whole life, and most of the Cavs fans around here have been there their whole lives. They can relate to him on that level. And so I think I can understand why everybody's nervous, and if he does leave, it'll be a pretty tough blow to swallow. But I don't think anybody from the Cavs organization to the fans to any of the people that have come to LeBron's rallies and signed petitions and stuff, I think everybody has done everything that they can, and I think people should take some comfort in that.
We're here today in this multi-million-dollar practice facility that the Cavaliers built. And by now, I'm sure a lot of you know about the multi-million-dollar home LeBron built, or shall I say the castle for the king. It's 33,000 square feet. It has a movie theater, a bowling alley, and even a recording studio, Andy.
Not too bad, but the cool part is, if you wanted to, you could knock on LeBron's door and ask him for a couple tools and maybe some gardening equipment, because the house next door to LeBron is now available on eBay. It's a 4-bedroom, 3,500 square foot home, and it is right next door to LeBron James. Marielle Lou takes you on the buyer's market.
It's a house fit for a king, or at least next door to the king, and it could be yours if the price is right. Until the end of the month, the house next door to LeBron James is for sale on eBay. No one was home when I stopped by. At 3,548 square feet, this 4-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom house is technically a tenth of the size of the 33,000 square foot fortress next door. In just a day, the offers jumped from $15,000 to more than $200,000, and still growing. But not everyone's buying.
Given the state of affairs in the economy right now, pay what it's worth, right? I don't care who lives next door. We love LeBron, but come on.
I personally wouldn't. I'd want a discount because of the extra attention.
But attention is one thing this house can hold on its own. On 2.5 acres, this house has a massive deck, a volleyball court, and yes, a basketball hoop, in case the king wants to come over to play a little one-on-one. And that's what Daniel Clark is hoping for.
If he shows his face, maybe when they're auctioning it or if they're selling it, maybe he can shoot some hoops with them.
That'd be nice.
Why not? Go to one of those parties.
And we're all hoping the party's not over. Marielle Lou, News Channel 5.
Now, the owner says that a part of the proceeds from the house's sale on eBay will go towards the LeBron James Charity Foundation.
And the foundation is doing a lot of great work here. Andy, I got to ask you this.
Ask me.
Do you think LeBron has already made his decision? I don't know. Maybe he's waiting for some divine intervention.
Ultimately, I think he has to pray and certainly seek the Lord and see what's best for him and his family.
Later, as we continue with our special, Keeping LeBron, I sit down with local religious leaders. What they say is the key for LeBron, no matter where he ends up.
Plus, the experts weigh in. I'll talk with LeBron biographer Buzz Bissinger and why he says LeBron has an interesting week ahead.
And next, he was once the king of Cleveland. Beloved Brown, Bernie Kosar, speaks out about life as a Cleveland icon.
This News Channel 5 special presentation, Keeping LeBron, continues right now.
Hi, I'm Danita Harris, and thank you for staying with us and our Keeping LeBron special.
And I'm Andy Baskin. We are taking a look at LeBron James, past, present, and, of course, the future.
This year was supposed to be the year that LeBron and the Cavs got the collective monkey off the city of Cleveland's back.
Yeah, and when it didn't happen, the collateral damage has shaken the Cavaliers right to the core. Our Terry Brooks takes a look back and what it might mean for the future.
It was all good just over a month ago. The Cavaliers were in the playoffs, the #1 seed, and then it all fell apart.
The fact that it's over right now is definitely a surprise for myself, but I mean, it is what it is.
Boston knocked the Cavs off in 6 games, and the question started, what was LeBron going to do?
I didn't play this season wondering about what I was going to do in the offseason. I approached every game, every practice, every day like it was my last.
But has LeBron played his last game as a Cavalier? The fallout started the LeBron speculation, but that's just the first domino. Coach Mike Brown, gone just over a week after the Cavs were eliminated. GM Danny Ferry, gone just a couple of weeks later. Chris Grant was promoted from within, still needing to hire a coach that can mesh with you-know-who.
Probably going to have to bring a coach in who's not afraid of LeBron and the situation that LeBron's going to be in, and the coach that LeBron respects as well.
We know it's not going to be Tom Izzo. Maybe Byron Scott or someone else. Right now, the Cavs are still weeks away from LeBron deciding if there's really no place like home.
I guess you have to go through a lot of nightmares before you finally, accomplish your dream, and that's what's going on individually for myself right now.
Fans thought their dreams had come true when the Cavs won the lottery in 2003 and took LeBron James #1 overall. 7 years later, Cavs fans have their own nightmare if LeBron decides to leave. Terry Brooks, News Channel 5.
Very few of us knows what it feels like to be a superstar athlete loved by millions. Northeast Ohio has seen its share of stars. Some have stayed, some left. But fans always remember, especially former Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar. Lee Jordan got a chance to sit down and talk to the man who was once just like the king.
The last time Bernie Kosar took a snap as a Cleveland Brown, it was November 1993. The future home of King James was still under construction. Kosar went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins. Today, as the current co-owner of the Cleveland Gladiators Arena football team mingles with eager fans, it's clear they haven't forgotten number 19.
To see the response that the fans have towards me, especially the kids, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it makes you feel good. And it's something that I still really cherish.
While the sport, the times, and dollars were vastly different, there were years in Cleveland when Bernie was top dog, the biggest sports star, with the city's hopes for a championship resting on his shoulders. It is that experience that gives him a unique perspective on the city's intense focus on LeBron James' decision.
It's a lot, I think, to ask of anyone. At the end of the day, he's still only 25 years old. And although, yes, he's mature than most 25-year-olds, that's an enormous amount of pressure and a ton of responsibility.
And like LeBron, Bernie was also our homegrown star, a Northeast Ohioan determined to play for the Cleveland Browns, as he'd always dreamed he would.
I'm looking at you with your fans. Is there something unique, and you have the perspective of having played in other cities, is there something unique that happens here between a star athlete and the fans?
There is a bond. There is a bond that only being from here, I think, you could create and have that is unique. And I think LeBron has that. I know I had that with him. And I think he has it to an even greater extent. I'm not saying he's going to ruin it if he goes somewhere else, but I don't think it'll be the same. And I don't think when he really sits back and analyzes it, he's going to want to jeopardize that.
And Kosar believes the unfinished business of bringing an elusive championship to Cleveland will be a big factor for LeBron.
Being from here, he's going to want to take on that challenge, because I think his greatness and his athleticism and his character is going to want that challenge. It's going to want that responsibility. I think he's going to relish that type of pressure.
Lee Jordan, News Channel 5.
And by the way, Bernie earned his only championship ring as a backup for the Cowboys in Super Bowl 28.
Well, Danita, I'll tell you, Lee Jordan was very busy. Not only did she talk to Bernie Kosar, but she sat down and talked to a man that really has an idea of what it's going to be like to sit next to LeBron James and figure out how to get a contract done. That's Indians General Manager Mark Shapiro.
And ultimately, I think the best decisions that people make are when they are able to prioritize what's important, where their values lie.
And we'll have more on what Mark Shapiro thinks could be the key to give Cleveland the best shot to land LeBron.
And next, a pastor's perspective, what some of Northeast Ohio's religious leaders are saying about the king.
Head for 10 hours. I don't know. LeBron's a great player, and I guess growing up here in Akron and growing up with him at St. V and Cleveland, I just think that his fan base is here. Rather, wherever he goes, his fan base is right here. And I think he should stay.
Another great offer from Nicole Posey of Akron to get LeBron James to stay a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Danita, you know there have been rallies, there have been billboards, there's even been grannies for LeBron James. Everybody is trying to get him to stay.
This is a huge campaign. Everyone loves LeBron. But what about the religious community? Here's a little divine wisdom from some local pastors.
Shot clock is down to 5. Nice fake by James. Oh, he stuffs!
Pastor Mark Johnson of Liberty Hill Baptist Church in Cleveland is also a former professional basketball player. He offers his insight.
LeBron James should definitely stay, primarily because of he's Dorothy. And what I mean by that is that in the end of the day, there's no place like home.
Pastor Paul Indre from Church on the Rise in Westlake agrees.
Instead of parade, we're going to have a prayer meeting because we believe that, you know what, Cleveland does have a prayer and that LeBron should stay, and we're going to pray that he stays, but that God is going to have his will in LeBron's life and that he'll have his will in Cleveland as well.
Located in LeBron's hometown, Pastor David Nelson of New Hope Baptist Church says the fans will make him stay.
Well, I think it's truly up to him. Ultimately, I think he has to pray and certainly seek the Lord and see what's best for him and his family. I certainly think he should stay because it will certainly be great for the city, for Akron, for Ohio, for Cleveland, because there's such a large fan base, not only in Ohio but also in the nation. And I think because of that fan base, I think he should stay.
Senior Pastor David Skelton of Calvary Baptist Church in Avon Lake wants LeBron to stick it out with the Cavs.
I'd love to have him stay. I grew up a Cavalier fan, and then when I became a pastor, I served in Chicago for 14 years. And I watched Michael Jordan come to Chicago and win multiple championships. And watched the patience it took and a lot of hard work it took. And I'd like to see LeBron stay here in Cleveland and do the very same thing, win multiple championships.
Dr. Kenneth W. Chalker from the University Circle United Methodist Church in Cleveland offers a different perspective.
Danita, I love to go to the Q and watch him play for us. That's a great experience. But I wonder what all this hype does to that guy. I mean, the words like the chosen one, and we're all witnesses, and governors and mayors calling him and begging him to stay. What's that do to a 24-year-old person? I mean, what if he starts to believe that someday about himself? What's that do over a period of a lifetime when you're no longer playing basketball?
From a higher calling to building faith in a team. That's a job for a general manager.
Yeah, we have one coming up a little bit later on the show. Indians general manager Mark Shapiro talks about what it's like to be on the other side of a tough negotiation like trying to sign LeBron James. And next, he wrote about LeBron's rise to fame from the streets of Akron. We're talking about Pulitzer Prize-winning author Buzz Bissinger, and he gives us his insight about the King.
Probably nothing. LeBron's a great player. I think that he has already done a lot for Northeast Ohio by choosing to play, wanting to play for Cleveland to begin with. He's given it his best at trying to win a championship. If it's time for LeBron to move on, then it's time for LeBron to move on.
Now, that's an interesting take from Akron's Christy Habila on whether or not LeBron should stay or go. But, Andy, let's keep it real. Does all of this really matter? Because none of us know what LeBron James will decide.
Yeah, in the end, it's all about LeBron. But we did talk to somebody who might know LeBron a little bit better. It's a man that co-authored the book with LeBron James, Shooting Stars. Of course, we're talking about Buzz Bissinger. And Buzz has a feeling he knows a little bit more about LeBron than maybe the average person.
I'm not sure LeBron really knows what he's going to do. I mean, I personally think, and it's hard for me to say this, I don't think he's handled the whole thing, very well. In particular, his refusal to talk with Coach Tom Izzo when he was considering the Cavaliers job. I just don't understand that at all, whatever justification his side might give. I thought that was really inexcusable and a real slap at Cleveland fans. He's played for 7 years. He has done a tremendous amount for the Cleveland area and for Akron. He has the right to go wherever he wants. This is complete guess. I mean, my guess at this point is that he's not going to stay in Cleveland. If everyone says, well, where's he going to go? My guess would be Chicago. I think they have the best chance of winning. I think he does really want to win. He knows he has to win. If he doesn't win, he's going to go down in history as the most disappointing great athlete ever. He needs a ring. He probably needs more than one ring. LeBron is very competitive. One problem with Chicago, he's in the shadow of Michael Jordan, which can be great if he wins, but if he doesn't win, it's going to make that shadow bigger and bigger and bigger. And the one thing you have going in your favor, and I know this, he loves that area. He loves Akron and by extension Cleveland. He is very, very comfortable there. He is secure there. And because of the way he was brought up, because of the tumult, because of not having a father, security is really, really important to him. And that's a big, big factor in your guys' favor. But you guys have to, the Cavaliers have to come up with a team that can win. What happens, happens. I swear, I promise this, the city and the region of Akron and Cleveland, you will survive.
He signs big-name athletes for a living. Indians general manager Mark Shapiro says there is good and there is bad concerning LeBron.
Our Lee Jordan sat down with Shapiro. What the Tribe's top man says about the possibility of LeBron leaving. That, as our special, Keeping LeBron moves along.
That's on your side. News Channel 5.
I'll be willing to give LeBron James 2 car washes a week for every year that he stays in Cleveland. And also 2 details a year on every car, free of charge.
Mitchell Moss of Akron's Pro Touch Car Wash with another great idea. What if you're the guy who's sitting across from LeBron James doing the negotiating? How difficult of a position could that be?
It's a tough spot, from a player's contract to a team's image. There are a lot of things a general manager has to consider. Lee Jordan sat down with Tribe GM Mark Shapiro to get his perspective on signing a big-name player.
What do you imagine behind the curtain is going on in these weeks leading up to this?
Well, I can't really imagine what goes on in this particular situation. I will tell you that whenever a player has a decision to make, he looks at the variables that exist for him within the framework of making a decision. And ultimately, I think the best decisions that people make are when they are able to prioritize what's important, where their values lie. And I think a lot of those things, and the reason why I'm optimistic in this case, is a lot of those things are favorable for the city of Cleveland. This is clearly a guy whose roots are here. It's clearly a guy who's on a consistent basis shown that he cares about Northeast Ohio, this region, the people here, beyond just basketball, what he's given back to the community and continues to do.
It does seem, though, that when one guy kind of becomes the linchpin of everybody's hopes and maybe the kind of driving force in the team, that is a little bit of a double-edged sword.
No question. It's a dangerous place to be. You always want to have what you're doing built around team, and you don't want it to be, you don't want to be in a situation where one player is kind of separated out and held above the others. It's not positive for a team environment. It's not positive in a team sport. I think in this case, it's no one's doing. It's the greatness of the athlete. It's the greatness of his ability, of his talent, of his even potential greater. It's his age, and obviously he's got a special personality too. But you've got to find a way to build championship teams regardless of any one player being on the team or not. And there are very few instances in my sport, guys like an Albert Pujols, with the St. Louis Cardinals, guys that can single-handedly change the dynamic of that team. It is easier for that to happen in basketball with less players than it is in baseball. But when that happens, you have to acknowledge it. When you have that player, you build around that player, and really, what you do strategically stems off of that player. And when you lose that player, or when either from retirement or trade or him deciding to leave the free agency, you've got to kind of reinvent and relook at the way you do things. But it doesn't mean that you can't win.
And when it comes to Mark Shapiro, here's a good piece of advice he once gave me. I said, Mark, what is the percentage chance of this happening? He said, Andy, there are only 2 percentages, 0 and 100. So when we're talking about LeBron James and someone says, what do you think? Do you think it's 50-50? It's not. It's 0 or 100, and that's for Mark Shapiro.
But we're all hoping it's 100. We'll be back in just a moment with final thoughts of keeping LeBron.
One final look at the Cleveland Clinic courts in Independence. LeBron James home for practice. He has called Northeast Ohio home for the past 7 years when it comes to his professional basketball career and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But that could all change in the next week when LeBron James becomes a free agent and other cities and other teams will have a chance at LeBron's services.
Andy, there is a possibility that LeBron could re-sign with the Cavaliers and make more money. LeBron has said that he wants to sign with a team that's going to guarantee him a championship. The question is that here in Cleveland or somewhere else? We will find out within the next week.
And when we find out, you will find out as well. Join us on News Channel 5 for all the latest details. And when you're on the web, make sure you check us out at Newsnet 5. For Danita, I'm Andy. Thanks for watching Keeping LeBron.
A News Channel 5 special presentation, Keeping LeBron. Brought to you by Bill Doherty Kia.